Okay, so I'm sitting in an airport this morning, have a flight delayed. So thinking about you guys as always and thinking about what I could bring to you this morning for some encouragement without shouting at the airport. I literally have my phone right now on this clip stand and a cup of coffee next to me and people wondering why the girl's talking to her telephone. Hi guys, you can hear me just fine. Awesome. Listen, I want to talk to my Facebook page this morning and ask you guys, how many of you consider yourself a perfectionist? And I'm gonna see, okay, how can I see the comments better? Because here's the deal. If I'm like this, then I need to be here. If I'm like this, then I need to take this off. So tell me if you consider yourself a perfectionist. And I want to talk about this morning. 6 a.m. in Arizona, Kristen. Hey girl, make hay while you can, sister. Another snow day in Michigan, says Amanda. We are probably going to have schools out tomorrow in Kansas City for temperatures. I think the high is like -2 or something insane. So Mama's out this morning. All right, do we have no perfectionists on this call? Elizabeth, there we go.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome
okay, hang on.
to United Flight 1716.
Hang on one second.
To Denver.
Okay, my flight's delayed. That's not me. Okay, so I want to talk about perfectionism this morning, and I want to talk about how that is really stunting your growth and really stunting your business. And what I have noticed in working with 3,000 entrepreneurs every month is that perfectionism is this really weird thing that we sometimes wear as a badge of honor, especially if we're makers or creators. Okay, so if you're a maker or a creator, the way that you get your feedback that your stuff is good is if you make a sale, right? Somebody gives you money, you sell the thing, and then in your head you're like, okay, it was worthy of money, so it must be good, right? Well, sorry. Does she not know I'm live?
As it is, we have a tendency to block the hallway. We do need to try to keep.
What are they talking about, blocking a hallway?
Passengers to move through.
Okay, 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, so creatives especially will get into this thing where the piece of furniture has to be absolutely perfect before I can sell it, where the wreath has to be absolutely perfect before I can sell it, where the earrings have to be absolutely perfect before I can sell it. And creatives are worse than anybody else when it comes to perfectionism. I can tell you that. Listen, I'm going to say something that is going to sting a little if you're a perfectionist, okay? But I want you to know that I tell you because I love you. It's going to hurt a little. How many of you ever watched Tosh.0? Not me, not this good Christian girl, but I'm just saying. I've heard that on occasion, Tosh.0 will say, this is going to hurt a little. It's going to hurt a little. Perfectionism is a kissing cousin to pride. Okay, I'm gonna say that again.
For those of you who would like to enjoy
I'll say it louder so everybody in the airport can hear. Perfectionism is a kissing cousin to pride. Because when you are worried about getting it perfect, you're worried about how you are going to appear. You're worried about how your stuff is going to appear. You're worried about your reputation, which of course you need to be concerned about. You're worried about how everybody is going to perceive you, and the focus is all on you. Okay, so what ends up happening is that when we are so focused on getting things perfect, we are very self-centered. Very self-centered, which then, hi Sandy, hi April, which then makes everybody around us lose out. Because here is the truth. Some of you have gifts and talents. Some of you are sitting on businesses that could be worth a mint, but you refuse to do the next thing, whatever that looks like for you, because you're thinking you have to get it perfect. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to get it perfect. In the words of Stu McLaren, you just have to get it started. And so there are so many people waiting for the gifts that you have, but they're losing out because you're like, nah, gotta get it perfect first. Honey, you ain't ever gonna get it perfect. And the way that you perfect something, which by the way is a verb, the way you perfect something, which means it's a moving thing, which means it's a work in progress, which means it's an action. The way you perfect something is by doing it over and by doing it over and by doing it over, okay? So listen, dang it, I was gonna look up her business name. Okay, somebody help me here. Somebody that's on 2 different devices, help me here. Christy Hawkins, who is somebody that is in my coaching group. Christy Hawkins did a launch this week. Why did I not look up her business? Does anybody know Christy? Christy's business, I feel like it's called One Something Easel. And now I'm going to have to look it up. Hang on. Okay, can I steady the phone with one hand and type on an iPad on another? Hi, Kylie. Hi, Kylie. But she did a launch this week. Here's why I was so ridiculously proud of her. She didn't wait until it was perfect before she did it. She knew what I know, which is you will perfect the thing, get it to more of a state of perfectness as you do the thing. But while you're sitting around lollygagging, thinking that it has to be perfect, you are losing out on precious time when all these people are just going right past you. The social easel. Thank you, guys. Thank you, so I don't have to look it up. Thank you. Christy had an amazing launch, you guys. An amazing launch that now is going to bring her over $10,000 a month. And imagine that. That is over 6 figures a year because she didn't wait until it was perfect. She got out the door what her people were asking for, even if it wasn't perfect, because she knew that she could perfect things as she went. As she went, right, Lisa? This is something that will get my goat, because what I have noticed is that so many women, they use this excuse of perfectionism simply as a cover-up. It is a cover-up for, I'm nervous, I'm scared I'm going to fail, I'm scared I'm going to look dumb, so I'm just going to tell everybody it's not quite ready yet. Honey, while you're sitting over there trying to get it ready, your competitors are flying past you because they know they'll figure it out as they go. You're waiting to figure out something you can't figure out until you do it. Let me give you an example. Who here's a mom? Oh, Sherry says my link isn't right because I want you guys to go sign up for my Creators Roadmap group. Is it not right? No, it's not. Okay, I'm pinning this post. Go to creatorsroadmap.com. I'm sorry, I spelled it wrong. There, go to that link that I just put there. How many of you are moms? Okay. How many people told you before you were a mom, like what to expect, right? They told you that you're gonna, your hoo-ha is gonna hurt after labor. They told you that you're gonna have a lot of sleepless nights. They told you that you might have to let the baby cry it out a little bit, in order to get them on a sleep schedule. They told you you're gonna be really tired. How many of you remember all the advice you got before you had a baby? And then you have a baby and you're like, what on earth just happened to my life? And how do you learn how to parent? Not by what everybody told you about parenting. You actually learn how to parent by doing the thing, by actually keeping the baby alive every day. That's how you learn to parent, is in the act of parenting, in the act of physically doing it. For those of you who are trying to figure out the next thing to do in your business, you will learn it as you're doing it. You waiting, though, thinking you're going to get it perfect, first of all, is a lie. It's never going to be perfect. Second of all, you are robbing the people who need what you have from so much information. They don't need you to know everything. They just need you to know more than them. Can somebody give me a big high five for the people in the back that just heard that? Okay? They don't need you to know everything. They just need you to know more than they do. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Casey. You just have to be a couple steps ahead of the people that you're releasing your product or your ebook or your course or your membership site or whatever to. So you don't have to know everything. You just have to know more than they do. All right? Thank you, Terry. Hi there. Right, Elizabeth? Gosh, perfection is never going to happen. And some of you need to get really okay with good enough. What is good enough? I was listening to this podcast the other day. Let me think of what podcast. I'm never going to remember it because I listened to a bunch. If you know this podcast, please let me know. I was listening to a podcast about how you need to get okay with doing B+ work. In a world that's telling us we need to have A+ content, you need to get okay. Oh, she said putting out B- work. And it's not because you're just sloppy and willing to sell BS. It's not that. That's not what she was saying. But she was saying that you can get it from a B- work to A work eventually. But start with what you've got and you'll figure it out as you go. Intentional Celebrator says, you told me this when I was not certain if I should join your inner circle. and you're learning as you go. This is how everybody learns. This is how you learn how to parent, mamas. You had to actually have a baby before you actually figured out what burping looked like. I remember, by the way, when we had Ava, like I totally, in the hospital, forgot to burp her. And Jason at one point was like, did you burp her? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot. We had 2 other kids and I completely forgot to burp this kid. What happened? The podcast is Toby Fairley. Okay, I don't know who that is. Was she a guest on somebody's thing? I don't even know. So listen, if you guys are interested in having a fire lit under your booty that will require you to take action regardless of if it is perfect or not, I want you to join this free pop-up group on Facebook that we have started tomorrow. So you can go to creatorsroadmap.com. And in this Facebook group, we're going to talk about all the ways your business currently makes money. Okay, this is from my business people. How you wish that it would make money. And we're going to figure out how to carve time out of your very busy life and schedule to implement some things that are going to put a revenue stream into place in 2019 that you've been wanting to do all last year. Tabitha's ready. Tabitha, I'm so excited you're going to be in there. Who else has signed up? I want to know. I want to know. Let me tell you one other thing about perfectionism. Jason and I, the other night, were doing a Facebook Live, and he was making for you guys P.F. Chang's lettuce wraps and potato soup. And by the way, I have like all these 16-year-old boys kind of mulling around this area right now. They know full good well what I'm doing. They're like, we got you, mama. We got you. We're about to get on the Snapchat. We see you over there humping on the phone early in the morning. Anyway, so if you saw that thing with Jason and I, and he's making pizza, and we were talking about how every time I load the dishwasher, he has a little bit, I'm not going to say he has OCD. He just likes things how he likes things, all right? I throw everything into the dishwasher and hit the freaking start button, and it's done in 30 minutes. He comes behind me and rearranges the whole thing so that it feels perfect to him and he can fit in 2 more glasses. Listen, I look at that nonsense and I'm like, dude, the dishwasher would have been halfway done if you would have just left it the way that I had it. I don't need for it to be perfect. You don't need for it to be perfect. You just gotta push the start button on some stuff. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are signed up. Thank you. Oh, Aprons by Marcy, he would probably love that. And Anne, I'm so glad you're coming to my conference. Thank you, I appreciate that. But it was fun. I mean, I'm laughing at my husband as he redoes my stuff because I'm like, who has time for that crap? Just get it done. Just get it done. Have you guys ever heard of something called the Colby Test? It's Kolbe. Anybody ever heard that? I first heard of this from Sandy Krakowski years ago. And it's not a free test you can take. It's you have to pay for it. But it's Kolbe, and basically the Colby test will ask you like all of these questions. There's so many tests, by the way, right? There's the DISC, there's the Enneagram, there's a Colby, but Colby's been around a minute. So it'll give you all these questions, and it'll tell you like how, what you should do for a career, number one, and then kind of like what your business strengths are. It's not a strength finders though. In the areas that you are really proficient in, and the areas that you should probably hire out because you're going to stink at, okay? So there's 4 different areas it's testing you in. And I come up the highest. They rate you on a 1 through 10 in each of the areas of Colby. I should have reviewed my Colby notes before I told you this, by the way. But so one of the things is implementation. One of the things is quick start, which means getting ideas and starting them. One of the ideas was one of the ways is fact finder, like are you good at research? And the other, I think, has something to do with the more techie mechanical. Anyway, when you take this test, it's really an eye opener because I'm a quick start on the Colby test, which means I am really good at throwing stuff out there and seeing what sticks. I am really good at starting things. I am really good at not letting the end freak me out. Even if I don't know where it's going, I don't get freaked out by that. Even if I don't know, like this Facebook group tomorrow, I have no idea if 2 of you will join or 2,000. I have no clue. I'm not worried about that. I'm here for the 2. I'm here for the 2. I am willing to go ahead. If I can change the life of 2 because I was able to motivate her into action, my job is done. Well done, good and faithful servant. That's what I'm hoping to hear. So I don't need the 2,000 to sign up. right? It doesn't bother me to not know what's about to happen. And some of you need to start wrapping your head around that notion. You want to wait until you have the end in sight, or you know exactly what it's going to look like. Or I think that you think that maybe God's going to download to you this vision of how it's supposed to look. And I think that God's just asking us a lot of times to take the next right step, and the next right step, and the next right step. When I got Christy's message last night and she was like, girl, our entire life just changed, I was like, thank you, Jesus. And here's why. Because when a business changes, when a business starts to gain momentum, when a business starts bringing in more dollars, families are changed. And when families are changed, generational curses are broken off. Their futures look different. Think of that scripture in Proverbs where it says that it's right to leave an inheritance to our children's children. That is a biblical concept, okay? And so the world is such a different place than it was 20, 30 years ago, when you could be at a 9-to-5 and really do some long-term investments, and things were just different. Things were just different. And so, friends, I'm so stoked for Christy because her life just changed. Her business just changed, which changed her life. I know what that's like because that happened to me 4 years ago in the online space. I know. And so some of you want this huge change in your life, but you're unwilling to do the thing that God's asking you to do because you don't think it's perfect yet, or you don't know how it's all going to work out. And I'm here to tell you, it don't matter. Do the thing. Start the thing. Start typing that ebook. Start that blog post today. Start posting on that Facebook page that you started 2 years ago and you haven't used for the love of all things holy. You're already halfway there, babe. Oh, Ann, you're so sweet. Mwah. I just motivated you. You changed your life, babe. I just motivated you to do it. So listen, get in my free Facebook group. I said I would never have one, and yet here I am. But I had lots of people asking. And I do know that a lot of people just follow me on social media for pretty houses. And so I didn't want to totally clutter up the pretty houses part for the business stuff. So go to that Facebook group and we're going to try to light a fire under some of you this week. Part of the reason that you are not taking the next step in your business for some of you is because you just don't know which next step. Hang on. You don't know which step to take. And so the entire point of the group is going to be to help show you which is the next step you should take. We're going to have lots of quizzes in there that kind of look at your personality and match you with a next step in your business. We're going to make you look at your business kind of through a whole new set of eyes. And if you own a brick and mortar, listen. Oh, thank you, Intentional Celebrator. I appreciate you. If you own a brick and mortar, I have something stirring in me for my brick and mortar friends. And my heart is always to position things in a way that are not offensive and that don't come across too hard. But brick and mortar people, listen, the world is changing, and you need to be really aware of how the world is changing. All you have to do is look at Black Friday sales, and you'll see how the world is changing. And so to my brick and mortar friends, listen, would you please tag a friend if you know, or share this to a friend who owns a brick and mortar, because I have some specific things that I want to talk to you about, which basically just means you need some protection right now via way of an online revenue stream. If you have a brick and mortar, you need to either be selling product online or selling something online in addition to your brick and mortar. You almost have to. Amber Strong, I know that you're here for it, girl. And thank you. Amber does own a brick and mortar. And I have a lot of followers that do, and I love you. But the way people shop is changing, regardless of if you want it to or not. See, Amber's doing the pivot. Listen, the world is becoming so technical. Some of you are in a business that you simply are not going to be able to compete with Amazon Prime for a lot longer. Will there always be people that want to buy from makers and DIYers and creatives? Absolutely. Am I one of them? Absolutely. Absolutely. But there still has to be, it's like when you start something in the online space, oh, that lady's luggage fell over. And if I was not holding up the phone right now, I would go grab that for her. By the way, she's not elderly, so I'm not just like leaving her out to dry. She sees her luggage. Okay. And I'm glad to see that other people are a hot mess in the airport. But you brick and mortar people, you need to buy an insurance policy for your business. And I say that meaning you need to have some way of making an income online in addition to that brick and mortar. You just must. And so we're going to talk about that in the group as well, and how you can position yourself to weather the changing shopping patterns of consumers. I'm sorry, I would have picked that up for you. I feel like a jerk. I should have picked that up. We should have picked that up, team, me and you. So thank you guys for being here this morning. I appreciate you. Tell me what I can do. Let me just answer some questions right here. But the free pop-up group is at creatorsroadmap.com. When you go and put your email in there, we will email you tomorrow the link to get into the Facebook group. Could just be 2 of us. Could be 2,000. You never know. I don't care. Either way, I'm going to help somebody. Okay? So tell me what I can help you guys with. Alma says she just closed her brick and mortar and she learned a little bit too late that online is where she failed. Alma, listen, babe, it's not over yet, okay? Number 1, it's not over till it's over. If Christy Hawkins yesterday, or last week or whatever, was able to launch something that just brought in her family $10,000 a month, and she's never done a launch before, you're able to do this too. One of the things that I talk about on this week's podcast, if you haven't listened to it, so last week was the best podcast Jason and I have ever had in terms of downloads. It's at 10,000 downloads right now, which is amazing. And so this week I followed up that podcast with just a really vulnerable podcast on how I make money in my business. And there's 6 different ways that I make money in my business, and I talk about it on the podcast. And I talk about how, wisdom at this day and age is not having income coming in from just one place. Because if times change, if things shift in a market, if all of a sudden everybody is so tired of a particular brand, taste, whatever, and things all shift and you're only making money one way, it just leaves you in this really, really vulnerable position. Somebody has a door open and it is like 2 degrees in Kansas City. We need to get that closed. I'm feeling a draft. The link is not working for you. Somebody type in the link for me, creatorsroadmap.com. I think the link at the top of this, I left the letter out because it's early. I'm sorry. So, but it's creatorsroadmap.com. Okay. Jan says, Jan's listened to the podcast. She's been looking at other avenues. So Jan, tell me what you do, because I can come up with ideas for people like that. But that is why I'm putting people in this group. I had somebody messaging me last night. Okay, listen, let me give you an example. She does piano lessons. And she said, Jennifer, can you help me? And I said, of course I can help you. She is worn out by doing piano lessons. She said she's the cheapest in her town. I'm like, number 1 error right there. You are not the Walmart of piano lessons. You need to be the Target of piano lessons, because there is something that happens in people's minds when you're the cheapest, and you don't want to be the cheapest, okay? So she said, I can't only do 10 kids. I can't do any more than that. And I said, girlfriend, teach piano lessons online. And I know she's going to be thinking, how the heck do you do that? You put a bunch of people in a Facebook group and you go live and you tell them to be at their piano with their little phone or iPad and you teach them from the computer. I have a friend who's in this mastermind that I'm going to see who does a huge membership group. Levi does for piano or guitar players. So think about all of you introverts out there. Think about how many of you would go back to college if you could just sit at home and do all those classes online, right? Think about how many of you have weird schedules that you can't do things in the evening like other people do, but you could do them at midnight, and so you wish that you could learn different things online. the online space is really taken over the world. And as business owners, you have to pay attention to that and respond to it and set your business up for success, regardless of if you like it or not. Regardless of if you like it or not. Because even though it stinks to see some brick and mortars closing down and stuff, we can't just like bury our heads in the sand. We have to come up with another plan to give you some insurance. So we've got that pop-up group started tomorrow. Let me see what else here. Can I help you in your MLM, says Jade. Jade, okay, here's what I say to my MLM girls. Hang on. Let's say, Jade, that you sell makeup, leggings, face stuff, I don't care what it is, right? The thing with MLMs is this: it can get people to get a lot of money very quickly. However, if that MLM, please listen to me and know that I love you. If that MLM ever changes course, if they ever change the rules, if they ever change percentages that they pay you, if they ever change the way the business is structured, if they ever decide, Jade, we don't like the way you're doing things, you violated something, and so therefore you're booted out of the MLM, you are up a river if you have built your business based on that MLM. So what I have told people is, when you do that, when you go all in with an MLM, you might as well be working for them on a 9-to-5. That's essentially what you're doing. You're putting your eggs into that MLM's basket, and that will never bring you security. So instead, Jade, what I would have you do is I would have you be marketing yourself. Let's say you sell vitamins, okay? Let's say you do an MLM for vitamins. What time is it, by the way? Am I going to miss my flight? Can somebody tell me what time it is? Yes, MLM is a multi-level marketing. Like, look at Amway, okay? Amway, gone, went under, done. All those people that were, living large with Amway for a long time, then what did they have to do? So what I always suggest people do, let's go back to my example of you sell vitamins, shakes, whatever. Okay, so that's fine and dandy. Thank you guys for sharing, by the way. This is for all my MLM people. And Jennifer knows this is why she's not an MLM. And an MLM is a lot of times a good way to get started, but market yourself. So Jade, let's just say you did health and wellness stuff. So you would center your business around health and wellness. And oh, by the way, I sell these vitamins and shakes. You could be doing videos to teach people fitness things. And by the way, you sell the shakes. You could be getting affiliate income off the cute little outfits you wear in your workout videos. Oh, and by the way, I sell the shakes. But don't ever completely build your business on the shakes alone. Don't do it. I love you so much. Oh, it's 7:16? Really? Okay, I think we're getting ready to load then. Really? Okay, I gotta go. I love you guys. I'll be back later, okay? I'm honored to be doing this pop-up group. Even though I said I would never do one, I know that there's a need for it, and the pop-up group's only gonna be available for the next 2.5 weeks. So go to creatorsroadmap.com. I know I typed it in wrong, I'm sorry. And please quit being a perfectionist. The whole wide world is waiting for what you have. They don't give a crap that it's not perfect yet. You're so far ahead of them. They're just desperate for that thing you have that's good enough. It's good enough. You'll make it better as it goes. My Creators Roadmap course, this is going to be the 4th time we launch it. And we scrapped the entire thing and we redid it from the ground up. We scratched the entire thing, but had I waited until it was perfect before I let it out the door, we'd still be waiting, you guys. We'd still be waiting. Remember that perfectionism is the kissing cousin to pride, because you're worried all about yourself instead of what God needs you to do, because there's people in the world that need what you've got. At the end of the day, that's what it is. Some of you are like, I still can't do it.
We are currently boarding groups 1 through 4.
I gotta go. Okay, I love you. All right, talk soon. Bye.